And we in. That's
what I'd
uberific.
like, you know what I'd like is the old days, and I know you know what I'm talking about, the old faders where you used to push the fader lever
Yeah.
when you go to a screen or whatever.
Yeah.
We had one of those that I got for free at our old church, and they wanted to put in, a camera, a couple different camera angles. So you go to a wide shot and you use the fader to to do that. I was thinking we need a fader. Assuming this is 25 years ago,
Yeah.
or 30 years ago.
Well, we don't.
Yeah,
you've got AI, especially with the system that we use in Riverside.fm. For any of those folks out there who are thinking about starting a podcast, well, you technically don't have to do the ding. They don't sponsor us per se, but we do pay them. And
well, it's not about sponsorship. When I ding, it's because it's a company name that shows. You know what? It's like a cash register. Ding.
I see. Okay.
Like
Ding, ding.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well,
I never really made that.
The more, if they did sponsor us, we would be, rolling in it 5 or 10 cents here and there.
And I do several dings.
Right. Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding,
anyway,
ding, ding.
Riverside.fm is a fantastic system. I've actually been on a couple of other podcasts for work, and they use the same system. All that to say, if you're looking at starting a podcast, look into Riverside. It's a pretty good system. One of the producers on one of the other podcasts has been using it for a while, as we have, and he was telling me some things that I didn't even know that exist.
Oh.
And one of the things in that conversation that we touched on is the fact that sometimes they roll things out that they don't tell the public because they just want people to find it and test it and see if it works, and if they can break it.
That.
It is. I do too. And then if it really works, then they'll do a big rollout, but it's already been in the system for a while. It's almost like a real life beta or a real time beta test.
I was just going to say that. That's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's really cool. So there are a lot of things. And to your point, we don't really need the faders anymore. I hit a button, it fades in and out, just like the intro. It did the fade for us.
Yep. Or it will do a wipe. AI. Or it will do a dissolve.
Wipe it down. Sorry.
Dissolve. Yeah. In and out. Spin.
Yeah, let's not go that far.
No, please, let's not.
You can tell that, honestly, you can really usually tell a professional editor from a novice by the transitions that they use.
You are so right. And I look at, and because I've worked with both, and I love the pros because everything is just boom, boom, really tight. And then, look at this transition. They do like a door flying off the door and flies off into the distance. And okay, that's somebody. And then they do it so much that the viewer ends up going, what is all this crap going on the screen?
Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
So
it's and Peyton right now is learning how to edit on
cool.
She's using CapCut, but even though she has full access to, a full editing suite, she decides to play on her iPad and use CapCut. Anyway, she's learning how to do it, and I'm just giggling because that's what she's doing. She's finding all these weird transitions, and I'm like, as you learn, you'll find out that that's not you should edit to a point where people don't even realize you're editing.
That's correct. And that's a really good piece of advice. She needs to know how to do it clearly.
Yeah.
And so that it's good that she's, messing around with it like that. But you're right. It has to seem seamless when professionals do it. That's how it looks.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, and some people actually on this call probably don't know, I spent 5 years? 5 years,
2 months,
5 years as a professional.
Days.
Yeah, exactly. 5 years as an editor in television, on online television, but it was television, and that was. And I learned. I mean, I was educated. That was my first degree. I didn't finish that degree, but that was my first degree. Was in film and television, and editing and producing were my areas of education. That. So I know you knew that. So I do fashion. Now, I do want to say something because I have watched our last few episodes, folks, and I want to make it very clear. I haven't actually edited the last 3 episodes. Nice. I have actually let the AI in Riverside edit. So I can see the mistakes. Trust me. That's not me editing. That is Riverside editing. And it is making a lot of mistakes. I mean, the content's still good. It still looks good, but it's cutting what it's trying to do is when I'm speaking, it's going to show my screen. When you're speaking, it's going to show your screen. Sometimes it'll show dual if we're talking at the same time.
Which
They're
often
not
do.
clean cuts, which we often do. We talk over each other quite a bit. I talk over
Are you
John
saying
quite
something?
a bit.
I wasn't really
I'm not saying
aware of that.
I'm not paying attention. So anyway, just keep in mind, I'm not editing that. Most people aren't going to believe me, but oh well.
Way to cover up your mistakes.
I know,
Nick.
right? I know. Blame it on someone else.
Yes, exactly. How have you been? How's everything going with you?
Oh, fine. You know,
Yes.
it's the weather up here is turning towards the positive. It is cooling down. Today's a little warmer than I would like. It is going to get up to 87 degrees, and I'm not really happy about
for
that.
you at this time of the year.
No, actually not at this time of the year.
Really?
That's normal. Yeah, for Nashville.
Wow. Okay.
And I was watching our favorite weather person this morning, just quickly on Instagram, because I also follow him on Instagram, not on YouTube. I do follow him on YouTube, but I was looking at him on Instagram, and it's Ryan Hall, y'all. And he was talking about the cold front coming in, and that it's actually going to sit for a while, which will be wonderful. So it'll be fall type weather. But he was using Minneapolis as the example, and he said Minneapolis usually at this end of August, first part of September is usually in the 80s somewhere, and this coming week they're going to be in the 50s all week.
Oh my goodness! For a high?
That's for a high. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Probably going to snow in October.
Maybe.
Right.
It's done it before. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
But I was a little bit jealous. But down here, it's wonderful. It's getting down into the 50s at night, which I love, and mainly because it makes my energy bills a lot cheaper.
That's
true. I'm a little bit stingy.
Last night we actually hopped in the pool at like 8:00 last night. Something we hadn't done too hot. Maybe it wasn't quite 8. No, it was just nice out, and we're out in the lanai. And hey, you know what? Boom, and it was great. It was
You're fully clothed.
7:30. Huh?
Yeah, fully clothed. You're just like, I'm gonna jump in the pool. When
you say fully,
I'm talking about your tuxedo, your dinner wear.
Yes,
your tails.
Go in without a tuxedo. You know
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, it was very very nice, refreshing, and unusual because I don't think we've done that in quite some time. Unless we have company.
There's a house I saw today on the gram. I spent some time on the gram this morning. I don't do it during the week as much as I used to, but
yes.
It's kind of like drinking. I don't do it as much as I used to. I was looking on the gram, and there was a beautiful house for sale for like $350,000 in Pensacola. And I'm like, I'd move to Pensacola. I like Pensacola. That's the only part of Florida I would probably move into.
Well, that in the Panhandle, the weather patterns are starkly different from what they are here. And the reason we went this far south, other than we have family close by, is I don't want 50-degree days in the winter. I want 70, 75-degree days in the winter.
You can have those.
And I'll call you and laugh at you.
Yeah,
when you have
20 degrees or colder that's where I could live in 20-degree weather or colder. And that's even coming from someone who loves Jeeps, and I love taking the top off. I would still, I would give up the topless Jeep to be in 20-degree weather all the time.
I prefer topless beaches.
I wouldn't
just
argue with that.
Would not know what to do with the topless beach. Sadly, they're usually populated by dudes. It's a topless sausage fest.
Yeah,
pass.
I'm glad you said it.
Speedos.
I'm not gonna say it, right? Yeah. So anyway, you and I were talking a second ago because you were going to tell us all about your Uber rides lately, but
I'm not sure I was going to tell. Let me tell you all about my Uber rides. Oh boy, that was an engaging podcast.
Yeah.
Right there.
Well, I think I feel, and I could be wrong. Maybe it's just because I don't travel as much anymore. I don't feel like people are taking Ubers, at least in Nashville, taking Ubers nearly as much as they used to. Or Lyft or any of the ride driving.
What are they doing from point A to point B?
Driving.
So they're getting rental cars?
That or they're just, if they're from Nashville, they're driving their own car. Yeah. I'm saying that because when I do go to the airport, the parking lots are much fuller than they used to be.
Really?
Yeah.
And I find that interesting because it is such a money generator for these airports. And you see cars that sit there all week some,
Mm-hmm.
on the weekends, they're not empty either,
Right.
and it just amazes me. It's people just leave their cars. I mean, I do too when I'm
I do too.
drive to Fort Myers, but if I were, let's say, 10 to 20 miles from the airport, I would probably Uber.
Yeah.
And because I pay
Well,
extra to have it under covered parking at
yes.
the offsite parking place. But shy of that, it sits out in the open.
Yeah.
And in Florida, that's a problem because the sun just wears
Yeah.
havoc on your paint surface. It's terrible down here.
I park at the airport in the garage next to the building, and
Yep.
that's mainly because even our offsite parking, it's not significantly cheaper than parking in the garage, but it's still, and it depends on how long I'm going to be gone and if I'm doing it for work. If I'm doing it personally, I would probably take an Uber, because if I'm flying out, I'm not flying back the next day or anywhere soon. It's usually, multiple days.
Yep.
But for work, I'm usually in and out. So it's not terribly expensive. And it actually is, for example, if I drive to the airport, park on a Monday, and I come back on a Tuesday or even a Wednesday, it's actually cheaper than taking an Uber from my house to the airport and back.
Yeah, I believe that. So, and I try to weigh that a little bit too. I'm 45 minutes from the airport ish, maybe 50. And you're right. An Uber ride like that is not going to be cheap. And
no.
I can park for the full week for less than $100. So,
well, and then you also have to plan for surge timing, because they have the surge pricing.
Right.
And
okay. That's
most of the time. Yeah. Most of the time that when I'm flying, it's usually during those surge hours. So that's even more expensive.
Surge hours. Yeah.
Surge hours. Yeah.
Because we're really busy. We're going to charge more.
Right.
I guess, whatever. It still makes me mad to this day that hotels vary their rates by night.
I know.
Give me a rate, for Pete's sake. It was $140 a night. Awesome. Except for that one night, it was $189.
Yeah.
Why? Cause. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Whatever you say. Yeah.
I know. But the Uber thing, and I guess it's unusual because I just haven't used them much recently. Excuse me. But I was in Indianapolis, and it just made sense for where we were going. So great. I've got the app on my phone. It was easy. It's all, connected with payment stuff. And it was pretty nice. It was a comfortable, I got picked up both times I admittedly went with the premium because I don't want to try and pack my stuff and self into something that's too small. But both times,
S-Box,
instead of a sedan, they picked me up with Suburbans both times.
Nice.
And it was
awesome. Felt special.
It was, it was really good. Oh, and a funny thing.
Well, let me ask you a quick question though, before you tell the funny.
Yeah.
Were you staying at a Marriott, and did the Uber driver drop you off at the Marriott? Do you have your Uber and your Marriott tied together?
I do.
So you've gotten extra points.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
And that, excuse me, that was interesting because the Indianapolis thing was fine. Long story without getting into all the details. My flights went from Indy to Tampa. And so actually it was Tampa that I did the non-rental car. I did have a rental car in Indy. We took Uber though to restaurants and so
Gotcha.
Anyhow, when I was checking out of the hotel, nice JW Marriott in Indianapolis downtown, very nice hotel. I had the valet bring my vehicle around, and it was a minivan because that's all they had.
Nice.
It's a white big minivan. I mean, they drive great, but
you know what? I think minivans get a bad rap. Would I ever own one? No. Do I love driving them and riding in them? Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, they're so much better than a sedan or a little tiny
I would even from a rider's perspective, not necessarily a driver's perspective, or let me rephrase it. From a day-to-day driver, from a daily driver, I would still probably pick a larger, like a Suburban or a Tahoe or something like that, just because I like them. I think they're comfortable, they're fun. But honestly, I find a minivan to be a much better ride, much more luxurious when you're inside. Yes, it looks like a mall mobile on the outside. Yes, but I mean, they have zeroed that shit in, man. They're phenomenal.
And it's an automobile chassis as opposed to a truck chassis.
Right.
So you have that, obviously they can't tow as much as a Suburban,
Right.
but they have that different which gives you a nicer ride, long wheelbase, so on and so on. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm Grandma, I got the minivan. We left. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, anyone that's ever ridden in one, they would go, "Oh, that looks like a sweet ride." Go on. Sorry.
I'm not sure they would, but anyway,
they probably would. Not sweet from the looks.
Oh, I see.
Not like a 1975 Chevy Vega,
which we will get to.
Yes.
By the way, it was fine, nice to drive, and so on. I was taking I have several bosses, but one of my bosses, we were going to the airport, get this, at 4 a.m.
Oh,
so the night before I talked to the valet and I said, I would like to have this ready at 3:30 because I'm going to be up at 3. I can't believe I'm saying it, but we both had 8 o'clock flights.
Mm-hmm.
So 8 o'clock flights?
6, why would you?
Sorry, 6 o'clock flights. Yeah,
I was going to say, if it's an 8 o'clock flight, John,
well, we wanted to be there early enough. 6 o'clock.
I know people like that, but not necessarily seasoned travelers.
Oh gosh, no.
And it's not like it's Chicago O'Hare.
Right, exactly. I wanted to get there. I'm an early guy anyway, but anyhow, so yeah, I'm ready to go at 3:45. I had to call him. He didn't return my text, which I hate first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
You go, is he alive? Is he still, whatever. And he finally picked up when I called him. Hello. Dude, get down here. Before that, when the valet brought my van around, because they didn't put it up front, I'm standing inside the hotel. He brings it around. It's this massive white minivan, so I know it's mine. And a couple walks through the door and starts loading their stuff in the back of my minivan. And I said, whoa, not your minivan. And the guy, I thought it was my Uber. He thought the valet was apparently his Uber guy.
Oh, that's funny.
Seriously? And the guy's helping him load the stuff in. I said, you're all three going to be really surprised in about a minute and a half. I couldn't believe it.
You can't make that out.
Sorry. And, their ride got there. Apparently, he didn't even know what he was looking for because it was a 4-door Kia.
That's someone who has not experienced Uber. Doesn't know what to look for, doesn't look at the tags or anything. And I'm sure that goes with our conversations about people that don't fly very often,
right?
And how they just don't know how things are supposed to work.
Yes,
that's another example of it.
It sure is. And again, I'm sure they're nice people, but
sure. And you've got to be patient with people like that.
At 3:30 in the morning, though, I'm not having it. I'm like, whoa. Not your car.
It's my car, damn it.
Exactly. Anyway, so it was fine. The Uber riders, though, or drivers were awesome. I got into Tampa and I had to go to Tampa. I went in for a meeting with my doctor. And it was great. It was the nicest guy and telling me stories about riders that he's had. And anyway, so it was a lot of fun. So I was happily impressed with the drivers because you hear these stories these days about, this horrific crap that goes on in Ubers. And I've never had that experience. And the same on planes. Not to say I won't, especially as much as I've been traveling, but what is wrong with some of these people that are just going off the deep end?
I don't know.
I saw a video yesterday, some dude with his significant other apparently, and they're getting ready to deplane, and he chokes her as they're trying to get luggage down and everything. He purposely chokes her, and some guy tackled him. And then he goes after the other guy and he's pummeling, and he walked off the plane. This is all on video, of course. Walked off the plane and never to be found. Didn't charge him, couldn't find who he was, nothing. So here's a guy who should never be able to be on a plane ever again, and they don't even know who he is. apparently.
Wow.
It's just,
That's crazy.
some of it is just outrageous.
It is. I don't understand people anymore. And not to, I'm going to tell you my Uber story here in a second,
Yes.
but not to the extent of that particular story, but even this morning when Jen took this is, I know this won't air anywhere near the weekend that we're recording it, but this is the Labor Day weekend. And so Jen, the studio's closed. So Jen has Saturday morning off. So she came with me to get our CSA basket this morning.
Oh, cool.
And it's the same route I take every morning with Peyton and to drop her off at school. And it's 55 miles an hour. And every single morning I get behind someone. I swear to God, John, someone on the road right now or recently put up less than that's probably every half mile now, a 55 mile an hour speed limit sign, because people don't drive the speed limit on that road at all. But you would think when I say that, it's because people speed on that road. Okay. No, it's because people drive 40 miles an hour.
We have one like that too. Yep.
And Jen has heard Peyton and I complain about it every morning, and she's like, yeah, whatever, because she doesn't have that same experience in the afternoon when she takes it. But I got on the road this morning heading towards this because of the CSA place is actually right next to Peyton's high school.
Oh, cool.
And I'm driving down the road and I get behind someone who's doing 45 in a 55. And I'm sitting there going, what the hell? 55?
Is it 4 lanes?
It's 2 lanes. It's 2 lanes.
Crap.
And it's like sign 55, bright, white, huge sign, 55 miles an hour. Half a mile later, 55 miles an hour. And the person slows down.
Oh, come on.
And I'm like, come on. And then Jennifer's like, oh, I get it now. I understand why you. Yeah, because it's like there's no reason to be driving that slow. I've made a promise to myself that I will never complain about someone who is doing the speed limit. I'll admit a lot of times I don't necessarily do the speed limit. I go a little bit over, but any police officers who are hearing me, you did not hear that from me. I will never complain about someone doing the speed limit, but I will be the loudest person when someone just refuses to even get close to it.
Yes.
It just drives me nuts. But
and we have
I know that's completely different, but you're different. Yours is different. These aren't people that are snowbirds. These are
or geezers.
These
maybe they are.
I even got behind, which you know what? I won't even complain about this because I shouldn't complain about it, but it surprised me, actually. I got behind someone who was doing that on the way to school on Friday, taking Peyton to school on Friday. We get to school, and it was a student. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to complain about that one. But while I was complaining in the beginning, but
exactly. Yeah. When you're in the midst of it, you're going, I don't know who's behind the wheel. So
yeah. So it has nothing to do. Most of the time I'm getting behind someone who's also going to the school, not always students, but it's like, come on.
Our road like that is, and it's awesome because it's 4 lane and it's 55. So you can go around them, but if it's traffic-y, you can't, trying to squeeze in the other lane. And for no reason at all, other than the fact that they're probably elderly, are they going 10 miles an hour under the 55 mile an hour speed limit. And plus, to add to that, our turnoff for our street is up a little ways to the right. And so, I don't like to cut in front of people and then quickly turn to the right. So that's not, not
do the same thing.
Good driver thing to do. However, if I'm far enough, if I'm a mile away from there and they're doing that, I'm going to try and go around them because I'll still beat them.
Yeah, a mile is about. So I do the same thing on the freeway. If I'm coming from east, I'm sorry, for coming from west towards Nashville, there's an uphill before you get to our exit, and a lot of times all the semis have moved over there to let people on the left lane go by. If it's trafficy, the 3/4 of a mile is about my cutoff. If it's 3/4 of a mile or less, I'm not going to go around someone unless it's a semi because they're going super slow.
Sure.
But I'll get frustrated because I'm not going as fast as I'd like to, but I won't do that cutoff thing.
I know. And
either.
If there's nothing that teaches you patience like that. Lisa made the mistake of telling me that it makes her nervous if I don't get like by the exit lane, a mile or whatever before. And so I will often do that just to kind of see that, are you nervous that I'm not? Shut up. It's awesome.
Now I
Now that I
will
know that.
now that we've laid that out there, though, I will admit in the last year or so, I have become a lot calmer when it comes to situations like what we were just talking about, and the non-speeders, the opposite of speeders,
Mhm.
because I am trying to get my brain, and I firmly believe this. It's the whole walk. You've got to walk a mile in someone else's shoes,
Sure.
therefore you're a mile away and wearing their shoes. But
Nice.
I want to make sure that I don't know what people are going through, what they're ting and stuff like that.
So
So I
true.
try to be a bit more patient, but still, it's
And that's
annoying.
something we can all use work on. And I'm certainly the biggest offender of that because, and it's like that when I see somebody wearing a mask these days.
Yeah.
Is it, do they have some health thing? Maybe they have a cold and they're trying not to,
Yeah.
they're still going to, but they're trying not to spread it as much as they might
Right.
otherwise. So you're right. I need that reminder a lot.
Yeah.
That you just don't know.
Me too. And I get, but it's our personalities. I think you are definitely a type A. I'm a type A minus, but it's one of those, I have to take a breath, take a step, and just try to be patient with people, even though sometimes I just want to punch them in the face.
Well, behind the wheel too, I'm the worst.
Mhm.
I can deal with it. I don't like to, but I can deal with it in the grocery store line.
Yeah.
I'm always pick the wrong one or whatever. I can deal with it there. I guess it's most often at Sam's or Costco or one of those places.
Would you agree that it in those situations it's probably because you can actually look the person in the face?
Oh, for sure. That's part
And
of
you
it.
can it's more you can be more empathetic.
I'll still roll my eyes.
Oh sure. I mean, you can still be annoyed, but at least there you can read people and you can see that they might be struggling or something.
For
Now,
sure.
the opposite is when you read them and you can see that they're just being a dick for just being a a prick's sake. It's then you can be upset with them.
Well, that's when you cough.
Yeah, exactly. And trust me, there are so many people out there that are like that right now. I don't know what is happening to this world. And I'm sure every adult throughout the ages has said that sometime in their life. But I'm looking at some of these people going, where's your common sense? Where's your common sense of decency?
Yeah, there's some of that.
Let's be gracious. Come on.
There is definitely some of that. But it is, as you said, when you're face to face, it's a little different. In cars, dudes especially, that's where the testosterone seems to come out. Whether somebody tailgating me, which really makes me angry, or
me too.
Or just something else that somebody's doing that's annoying, not driving the speed limit or doing something. I saw somebody the other day cut over 4 lanes of traffic to make a left-hand turn, and I'm like, oh, seriously, what makes you think, well, this is probably okay?
Yeah.
There's a lack of courtesy, and you see that on the interstate when nobody is using a blinker. I mean, they're just boom out or
lack of
courtesy.
Too. Courtesy and patience.
Patience.
We're talking about us being patient, but other people are probably a little bit. I love those that I hate when I'm saying this. I'm being sarcastic. I love those people that are just switching lanes and trying to get around people, but then you get to the exit and you're in front of them because they made some stupid bonehead mistake, and then they're all frustrated. It's like, I stayed in one lane and kept going.
Yes, I will do that sometimes, and I'll tell you why. Because some people down here, especially, drive, and I'm just talking about I-75, which is our primary north-south interstate here.
Mm-hmm.
They will drive in the left lane and just stay in the left lane no matter what.
Oh yeah,
and that drives me crazy, especially if they're going 10 miles less than the flow of traffic.
Yeah.
So they might be doing the speed limit or a little more, but then get out of the left lane. You're not passing somebody. Get out of the left lane. This is a public service announcement from PoddiMouths. But I will sometimes do those. Well, I'm going to go around them in the right lane, then get to my speed, and either middle lane or left lane to pass, what have you. And I got pulled over doing that.
Oh,
I think I told you about that a couple of weeks ago. And
no, you didn't.
Yeah, and it's I very seldom get pulled over, and he was probably right too. I was doing maybe 80 at the most, and it's a
Mhm.
70-mile-an-hour limit, and they usually will not bother you at 80. But I did cut around, and I said, "The dude's in the left lane. You should be pulling him over." And he said, "I understand, I understand." And he just checked my license and said, "Be careful." And I said, "Thank you." And so it was no big deal, but I
Yeah.
wasn't doing anything dangerous. But yeah, I was going around somebody who was doing 70 or 72 in the left lane. There was a guy last week in the left lane in an RV pulling a trailer
Oh, geez.
doing 70.
That
What?
there are rules for that.
I,
There are rules for that.
they should be pulled over.
They
Get out of the left lane.
Yeah. I mean, semis, they're really, if you've got a good semi driver or a
Yeah.
good long haul trucker, most of them have been trained really well and do a great job. They move over there when they have to, but they are right back in the right lane driving.
Well, they're not. This is a 6-lane road,
So
and
they're not even allowed in the
they're
far
not
left
allowed
lane.
in the left lane. That's right.
That was kind of my point. The
Yep.
same with campers.
Yeah.
Campers should not be over there.
Nope.
They are not classified as a semi, but they are in the same category. And if you read the driving rules or laws, they are not supposed to be in that lane, especially if it's multiple.
And you know what? And if I had one of the books, the driving,
throw it
I'd
at 'em?
just hold it up to the window.
Yeah.
So, hey, yeah, whatever.
Oh,
Not
I've
really,
wanted to
because
do
it's-
that. So I think you'll find this funny. So I think most people know that in Tennessee and several other states, it is completely legal without a permit to carry a firearm.
Mhm.
So I'm very careful not to do some of the things that I really want to do. And sometimes, for example, on the road where people aren't driving the speed limit, I just want to get up really close to them in the window and start going 55, 55. But I don't want to because I'll probably get shot.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yep.
And that stuff happens too often. It was in Louisiana.
Yeah.
A 17-year-old
Another state
girl,
like that.
right? Saw that passenger in the vehicle, and a guy got mad. They were brake checking each other, and I'm sure the driver of the vehicle she was a passenger in was doing it wrong too. But the other guy fired a shot into the SUV, killed the girl. The baby, she was pregnant, 17 years old. The baby is in a NICU, I think, probably gonna make it. But yeah, and the guy, and I hesitate to feel bad for somebody who who killed the girl accidentally, clearly, but that will mess him up for his entire life.
Yeah,
and she's gone clearly.
Yeah,
which messes up the family. But
yeah,
I can't even imagine how that would feel.
Yeah. Which is why I try not my hardest. And I don't. I'll be honest. I have not reached a boiling point with my road rage to do anything like that. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you do think about it.
Boy, if I had... Yeah, I know.
Yeah, if I had the balls, I'd go up and do 55. Or I'd put a picture on the window going, "You asshole," or something like that.
Well, Lisa said that the other day.
I honestly don't even flip people off. I want to a lot.
I do. This is my main thing. I'll just do hold my hands up. Really? What were you thinking? Sometimes I'll applaud. But that's really as far as I go. Our church has these round, they're not, I guess we have some magnetic ones too, but round stick-on that just says ND, New Day, church. And Lisa and I used to laugh about it on the way. We would be driving to church 15 minutes or whatever on Saturdays when we attended on Saturday nights. And somebody would always cut us off or do something. And I'm just, and then many times they would end up pulling into church.
Oh, gee, yeah.
And, they have one of these things on the back and you go, see you at church.
Yeah.
But then I asked one of the pastors, I said, I noticed on your Jeep, Neil, that you don't have one of the New Day things. You want me to put one on? He says, I will never have one of those on my Jeep because I get too angry in traffic. I said, I appreciate your honesty. And you'll notice I don't have one on mine either.
Yeah. I'm very careful, especially when I'm taking Peyton to school. Again, not that I ever do, even when I'm not dropping her off, even when I'm by myself and somewhere else. I'm very careful not to let my rage show.
Yes.
But I am especially careful when I'm taking her to school because 95% of the time, the people I'm angry at are pulling into the school as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So you get it.
Yep. So let's talk about this Chevy Vega.
Chevy Vega. Show our viewers, and we'll
Mr. Bill
describe it for
Taylor
our
already.
listeners.
Yeah, Mr. Bill Taylor already saw this probably when this airs, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago.
That's
but
excellent.
I'm gonna share it right now because
Nick showed
I thought
me this picture.
was really interesting. So if you can see my screen right now, it's this is on Instagram, and it says, for those of you who aren't watching,
yes,
1975 Chevy Vega buried in a time capsule, unearthed after 50 years. And it is bright yellow, and it's actually in fairly good shape for the age. And you can see also in the bottom right hand corner, there's a Suzuki motorcycle, or Kawasaki rather, and then a few other pieces of memorabilia.
Like boxes, it looks like. I'm not sure. I was going to ask what else is in there.
Boxes, and it's all got memorabilia and stuff in it. So it was buried, I think, by a Boy Scout troop.
Boy Scouts,
you can see on the back wall. Yeah, and there's paintings on the wall and a lot of other things. And I'll read the caption for everybody, especially those who aren't seeing.
Let me just say about the Vega. The Vega, if you can't see it, is covered. It looks like in like a tarp.
Plastic tarp
sheeting of some sort anyway, but it was a brand new Vega, 0 miles on it essentially, right?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So it's 1975 Chevy Vega has been unearthed from the world's largest time capsule in Seward, Nebraska. 50 years ago, local shop owner Harold Davison buried a brand new 0-mile Chevy Vega in a 45-ton concrete vault, wrapped in plastic and surrounded by a Kawasaki motorcycle, thousands of everyday objects, and walls painted with messages to the future. To make sure no one missed it, he even built a giant concrete pyramid, which I'll show here in a second. Guinness certified it as the world's largest time capsule, and a record it held for decades. On July 4th, 2025, the vault was cracked open exactly as planned, revealing not just a car, but a perfectly preserved fragment of 1970s America. And I'm going to flip through the photos here. So here we're pulling the Vega out with a crane. You can see the time capsule there on the top with the
cool
pyramid. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Vega coming out of there. Tires are still inflated. That surprised me. But they did put it on rollers. They're checking the engine in some of these pictures. They're looking at the VIN. I mean, it looks the steering wheel looks a little rough, but the rest of the car looks like it's in really good shape on the inside.
That's odd with the steering wheel, isn't it? Because everything else, like the dash and the seats and everything, look great.
Yeah,
and great. You can see could have in a Vega.
Yeah, in 50-year-old car. Look, 0 miles. They show the odometer right there. I didn't notice that the last time.
Really, I've never seen a car delivered actually with zero miles. Never seen that.
No, that probably got rolled back. I have a feeling it did.
Or
it was built in Lordstown, Ohio, and the MSRP was $3,035.75. What did you say about that?
Still overpriced.
Still overpriced.
It was the Vega was. It was an interesting vehicle, and Bill would have probably more to say about it, knowing the ins and outs. That was before his time in the business, I'm pretty sure, but he certainly knew the vehicle. They had aluminum blocks. It was one of the first vehicles GM, if not the first GM ever produced with an aluminum block 4-cylinder engine, if I'm not mistaken. And they did not fare well. They had some problems with them. And so the Vega was kind of, it didn't have a great name. I don't remember the first year, though. 75 was it? It may have been.
I don't know. Bill, you're going to have to let us know that. We do have this tool. I don't know how's it spelled? Googl.
Oh, I don't even use that anymore. Just go to AI.
Right. Well, even the search engine is AI, but that's a whole other podcast. It looks like the only damage on this one, to your point, I mean, it has literally been buried in a concrete tomb underground for 50 years. And besides the steering wheel, as we mentioned, there is a little bit of rust on the hood right there. You see that at the top.
I wasn't sure what that was.
Yeah, it's a little bit rust. But other than that, I mean, it looks like it's in fantastic shape. Even the sidewalls of the tires look okay.
They were not awesome cars, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but it was kind of the low end. it was about the same year the Chevette came out, if I'm not mistaken, the Chevy
Okay.
Chevette. And so this was one step up sideways, one step up from the Chevette.
The Chevette.
A little bigger size-wise is what I was trying to say with my mouth.
I want to say back in the 70s, when my mom and dad were still married, I want to say that it was either a Vega, and I know this is a big jump. It was either a Vega or a Gremlin that my dad had.
Okay.
I don't remember because, and this is why I say this.
Remarkably they don't look different, but especially the front end.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm like, I've seen pictures of that car.
Yeah. They made a Vega in a hatchback.
Very similar to that.
Like the Gremlin.
They did. Okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'll have to ask my dad, but I think he was either a Vega or a Gremlin. He was trying to fix, and it got stuck in reverse, and he backed into Mrs. Totino's, from Totino Pizza Roll fame, Mrs. Totino's Jaguar.
No kidding?
Yeah, and totaled the Jaguar. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay, well, that's not good.
No.
So he got a lifetime supply of pizza rolls?
Totino's Pizza Rolls. That was well before Totino's created pizza rolls.
I see.
Actually, so I looked up, I going back in history. So that obviously Totino's has been around for a long time. Totino's, folks, if you don't know, was an actual pizzeria in Minneapolis.
Oh,
it was a very wealthy family. There's actually a private Catholic school named after the Totino's. It's called Totino Grace. Most of my cousins went to Totino Grace High School.
They didn't say like Totino Pizza Grace or anything like that?
No, it was just Totino Grace. And so big family in Minnesota. Pizzeria was around forever. They created Totino's Pizza Rolls and a few other products as well. When my mom passed away, we had the wake, the party afterwards. Actually, it was not the wake. It was after the burial. It was catered by Totino's. So we had Totino's pizzas stacked up in the freezer, and we just made them whenever someone came around. It was fantastic.
That's cool.
I think Totino's the pizzeria has finally closed, because I was telling some people at work all about it, and I was sharing that story, and I tried to look it up and I couldn't find it on Google, but on Google Maps and stuff. So I'm wondering if the pizzeria closed. If anyone knows, I would love to find out. But they were definitely open in 2010. And anyway, that was my claim to fame there. So
very cool.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, so the Gremlin is you'd probably know the Vega. The Gremlin was one of the AMC vehicles, and the other one that kind of went with that whole time frame was the Pacer. And the AMC Pacer is the one that kind of looked like a bathtub. That's what they would call it lovingly. And from what's the movie? Garth and
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World. Thank you. On Wayne's World, that's what they drove.
Yep.
Was the Pacer. Oh my gosh. They were disgusting. But you know, they were part of that Americana time.
Yeah, I'm sure you could say that about cars that exist now as well. And that probably won't in the future.
Yeah, you look back on some of them and you go, what were they thinking? And and others you look back and go, wow. And I'm thinking like the 56 Porsche. The
350.
What is it?
356.
6, yeah.
356, yeah.
Such a beautiful car. And
yes.
Okay, now that is what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And even the old vets, the 60 the 50.
The 50
on up.
Yep.
50s up to the 60. And even after
beautiful.
There were some, my buddy Herb has a beautiful 64. That's just, oh my goodness. It's just gorgeous. But great body styles. And, they thought they were designing those vets in particular as being aerodynamic. And you remember the 74 had these big front wheel things that were, and they figured out once they put it into the aerodynamic,
the wind tunnel
area, wind tunnel. Thank you. It's about the same as a square pickup truck.
Yeah.
So they finally started redesigning them for actual airflow sometime.
But they're gorgeous.
90s.
I would say I'm a big fan of older sports cars, not muscle cars, sports cars. Like I like the 356 Porsche. I like the 911s from all the way up until about, I don't know, late 80s, I would say.
Agreed.
Once we got into the 90s, they're just not, they're still pretty, don't get me wrong, but they're
Just
just
as a quick
not.
aside, those blew me away when we took them in on trade, because like old school vehicles in the 50s and even before, their clutch and brake pedals went into the floor.
Into the floor.
Oh
Yeah.
my
It's
gosh,
hard to learn to drive.
Yeah, it really took some practice to figure that out. But yeah, anyway, I thought that was just a
No, that's a great
aside.
I really appreciate that, because that's something I often think about when I've driven some of those 911s and 912s. I love the 912. I would actually almost prefer a 912 over a 911.
Both great vehicles.
Both great vehicles.
Beautiful cars.
356, 912, 911, and then you go into the Corvettes from the 50s, 60s, and even some into the 70s. I think they're beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I would buy one in a heartbeat. Yeah. What are some other really good ones?
Unlike you, I liked some of the muscle cars. I love the 69 Charger. I think it was a beautiful car. And I was kind of always partial to the Chevys in particular, but the 66 Chevy 2 was, kind of a square body, but really delicate looking, sort of. That was just one of my favorite cars, because I had a friend who had one, and man, that thing was so light and fast that it was just great memories to ride in those things.
I also like the old Zs, the Datsun Zs, and all the Nissan Zs.
The 240s were great looking cars.
I would actually say I could argue against what I just said about I prefer the older ones over the newer ones.
I love when you argue.
The Z, I know, I do.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The Zs are the only ones that I would say if I had unlimited funds and a huge, massive garage, sitting next to my 911, my 912, my 356, and every model of a Jeep, CJ5, CJ7, TJ, and a JL. Yes, I skipped a lot in there, folks.
You did.
I would probably have a Z from every generation, all the way up to the new one. I love the new one. I think they're called the Proto, the Z Proto now, or maybe that was just the prototype that they were calling that. I don't know, because it doesn't have a designation like a 350 or 370 anymore that I'm aware of. I could be wrong.
I had a 370. I think it doesn't matter.
There's the new body style.
Yeah.
Before that was the 370. The 350 was before that.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think it was the 370, but it's a similar body style to the current 2015, if I'm not mistaken.
2015 would be a 370. Yes.
70, yeah, and it was a fun car to drive, 6-speed. I really enjoyed that car, but it 2-seater, and as far as a driving car, it was amazing. To look at it, mostly high school girls would look at me and then be terribly disappointed when they found out I was elderly.
Well, I guess it depends on.
I was not wearing Depends. No, thanks for asking. Though.
Well, good. Yeah. All right, I'm going to show you the Z here. Give me just a second. The
show
new
me
Z.
Something. Our listeners are thinking, what is he going to show him?
The new Z.
Oh, good.
So this is
it's really a different body style.
It is a little. This one, the pictures. If you saw it in real life, and especially next to a 370, you'd go, it's completely different. But on these pictures, it doesn't look completely different.
Is not real life.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you're right.
So
that's definitely different. I like it a lot.
Here's the interior.
What's I can never think of the name of it. The high level
GTR.
Nissan, the GTR. Are they still?
They just stopped making it.
Did they?
Yeah.
This looks very similar.
The only thing I don't
like, I love the front end. I'm not crazy about that capsule in the passenger area, and mine was like that too. It's just that small capsule. This is what a capsule.
That's the one you would have had. Yep,
I had that one, and that was a great car. But it's kind of just a little odd that the passenger compartment.
Yeah.
In my
humble and then here's opinion. Not 250, 350.
I love
350.
We're actually, if you're listening, that was
this is a
different body styles. Yeah.
So the 350 and the 370 are a little bit closer than the new one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got it. That's cool. And they are fun cars to drive, and
they are.
And I'll tell you what put me over the edge to get the Z was looking at a Honda Accord, and I'll just ding for all of those. A Honda Accord.
Not even close.
Well, no. But the price was about the same.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, let's see now. I'm getting really close at that point to a midlife crisis. So why not just get a Z for about the same price as an Accord? And it was, I love my Hondas too, but way more fun to drive. It was with a manual transmission, of course.
Of course, yeah. No, they are fun. And they're significantly cheap. I would argue, honestly, I would take a Z before I would take a GTR. And a lot of people are probably going, that's blasphemous, because the GTR is a high performance, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but they're over $100,000 and they look the same for however long they've been out almost. Yeah. I like the Z. I think it's smaller. It's more compact. Yeah, it doesn't have nearly as much power, but I don't care about power. I'm not taking it to the drag strip.
Who never said that?
To the racetrack.
Lex Luthor never said, I don't care about power.
Just no, different kind of power though, John. Different kind of power.
Whatever.
I mean, I know I look a lot like Lex Luthor especially when I'm not wearing my hat, but
was not making that comparison, but now that you mention it.
Thank you very much.
If you could draw like evil eyebrows or something on you, like Nancy Pelosi has,
just for example, with my glasses and hat.
Like Nancy Pelosi, she has evil.
Oh, those are very evil.
Hers drawn on.
Did I say that out loud?
You should do that. Yeah, I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear a thing.
Go to wherever Nancy gets her makeup done. That's where you should go.
Exactly. But John, I think on that note, I mean, we could keep going and talk about cars all day because that's what we do. It's not even a car podcast.
Not really. What is it a podcast about?
Absolutely nothing. Everything and absolutely nothing.
Everything. Yep. Well done.
We could definitely talk for hours about cars, and I don't even know that much about it.
We want to save something for the next version.
We do. Here's something though. I'm going to leave everyone thinking
scratching their head about.
Scratching their head. How many people do you know in our business, in the car business, that either don't necessarily like cars, and I'm not saying they don't like to drive cars, but they don't care about cars. Like they ended up in the business and they talk about it, but they really don't care about cars.
I don't know as many as you might think. I mean, and maybe because I just don't talk to those people because I don't like them.
I know a lot. I know a lot of people that say, I don't know why I'm in the car business. I don't care about cars. Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, to the detail, like us, we're saying we're imagining our perfect garage.
Yes.
And I know Bill Taylor, for example, probably knows 10 times more about the cars he has in his garage than I ever will.
He does.
He's probably forgotten more than I know about them when it comes to how they're built and their engines and stuff like that. But I love cars. I love everything to do about cars themselves. And
the best part about cars, Nick, is the and somebody said this beautifully about it being a romantic relationship that we have with automobiles, and we kind of do. And that's why dealerships and showrooms, and people will fight me on this and say, no, I don't ever want to go into a dealership again. Got it. But this is why those folks are in the minority. Over 70% of people say they still want to see it and drive it and touch it before they buy it.
Especially used, more so on used than new.
Well, even so, on both, I'm
not saying no on both.
No, it's a broad spectrum of folks.
Yeah.
That people you would think, we buy everything on Amazon or, doing stuff online. Well, I'd like to buy my cars like that. Yeah, 70+% of people disagree with that.
Yeah,
statement.
I still have conversations with dealers to this day because you've got some that are fully bought into having, and I'm being very careful how I say this, fully bought into having a digital retailing tool on their website.
Sure.
And we have some that are completely against it because they'll use that argument that you just talked about. And I have to have the conversation with them quite a bit. It's like the digital retailing tool, and bear with me, the digital retailing tool on your website isn't a tool for your customer. It's a tool for you to use to get the customer far enough down the funnel that they want to come in and test drive the car and do all the things that you need to do.
Well
There are
said.
people that want to buy at different levels,
Yep.
and they want different levels of comfort. So it's on you to train your people how to engage with those customers using that tool.
It's very smart. And here's the only thing I'll add to that is this: a digital retailing tool on your website shows transparency.
Yes.
That's why it's there. And
Yes.
and so you can, and you're absolutely right. It allows people to go as deep into the process, as far down the funnel as they want to go. But the goal eventually is to get them to want to come in, see and drive your vehicles. If they want to do the entire transaction online, fine, more power to them. But
Yep.
when it comes to paperwork and do I want to put an offer on a car I've never seen or driven, or see if it smells like cat urine? I probably want to see it first.
Right.
And but the whole transparency thing, we talk about it a lot, but nobody understands what it is. If you have call for best price, that's not being transparent.
That's not being transparent.
If they can walk themselves down the funnel as far as they want to go, that's transparency. And that's somebody they want to eventually come and see.
Exactly. And then I get the argument that, well, we don't make as much money when we have people transact using that tool. Well, statistics show the opposite for two reasons. One, maybe on the front end, you're right. I'll be the first to say that. Maybe on the front end, you're absolutely right. But statistics show that you're going to, the likelihood of you making more on the back end, and I think the number is right around 30% more on the back end because the customer is in control. That is going to kill any argument because you will make more. And here's the other part of that. Yeah, maybe you'll make less per transaction, but you're making something on every transaction, which adds up in the end.
There's that. And lastly, the life cycle of that buyer.
Yes.
If you're transparent and you care for them well, they're not just going to buy one vehicle from you. They're going to buy multiple, and they'll refer others. They'll bring in family members if we work it properly after sale.
Yep. And we'll leave this we'll leave the podcast on this note. And I think you'll agree with me on this. We in the car business are too often short-sighted. We don't plan far enough in the future. We're just looking for instant gratification. And my boss actually just came up with, just found a quote from Bill Gates that, and I'm going to butcher the exact quote, so I'm not actually quoting it, but I'm paraphrasing, is when you're focused on the short term, you screw yourself in the long term. You should always be focusing on the long term because that's going to be an indicator for success.
Yeah, and it's, if you're myopic in either direction, it's a problem. So it's almost like being wall-eyed.
Yes,
to the short term and the long term, because both have impact on the other.
Right. Yeah.
But
you shouldn't focus solely on the short term.
Yeah. Amen.
All right.
Well done.
On
That's
that
a good
note,
place to leave it. We got nuggets right at the end. On that note, and we got some of our good nuggets at the end.
I know, and the best part is
listen till the end.
Exactly, I can tag that in the intro, and that's going to force people to listen all the way to the end. So
it'll force them, which is what we like to do here on PoddiMouths.
Force people to listen. That's exactly it.
Honey, I'd like to come. I'd like to eat dinner, but I can't leave. They won't let me.
I can't pull away from this, and it's a long episode. All right, folks, we'll see you again next week. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to listen to past episodes, head up to PoddiMouths.com. Check out all of our social interaction on our social media pages. Like, subscribe, all of those things that you need to do to make sure that the algorithm picks us up and that more people listen so we can keep doing this for another 7 seasons. Peace out, folks.